Call the meeting to order. Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton?
Here.
Trustee Dodge?
Here.
Trustee Calandrello?
Here.
Trustee Healy?
Here.
Trustee Katsinas?
Here.
Trustee Malani?
Here.
Mayor Pico?
Here.
Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the September 30th, 2019 special meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees special meeting of September 30th, 2019. Sorry.
Second. Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Approval of October 7th, 2019 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of October 7, 2019.
Second that.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Proclamation honoring Orland Oasis as Orland Park Business of the Month.
So I want to take this opportunity to honor Orland Oasis as this month's Orland Parks Business of the Month. A proclamation honoring Orland Oasis as Orland Parks Business of the Month. Whereas Orland Parks Orland Oasis Restaurant first opened in 2000 under the name Chef Klaus Orland Oasis, and prior to 2000, this location was the home of Orland Park's first flower shop. And whereas in 2008, Orland Oasis was acquired by Stephanie Lamer and her son Ed, changing the name to simply Orland Oasis, and it has been a family-owned business for 11 years. And whereas Stephanie immigrated to the United States from Czechoslovakia in 1969 and moved to Orland Park in 1990, and even today in her 70s, she is still welcoming customers, making each customer feel like family. And whereas Orland Oasis is a family-run, quaint 12-table restaurant where regulars visit daily and everyone knows one another, and whereas Orland Oasis has been creating the same delicious and fresh recipes that Chef Klaus created when originally opening in 2000, and whereas Orland Oasis is open daily from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., serving breakfast and lunch with an extensive menu, and whereas Orland Oasis is a mom-and-pop style restaurant with home-cooked meals made fresh daily, just ask me, and whereas Orland Oasis staff time at the establishment precedes Stephanie and Ed Lamer's ownership, making Orland Oasis yet another gem in Orland Park. Now, therefore, I, Keith Peacock, Village President of the Village of Orland Park, Illinois, and the counties of Cook and Will, do hereby extend the gratitude of the entire community for more than 11 years of serving the community, and hereby proclaim Monday, October 21st, 2019, as Orland Oasis Day in the Village of Orland Park. Thank you very much for your service to our community.
Thank you.
Mayor Pico,
Trustee Dodge.
just like to add, you have great potato pancakes.
Proclamation honoring Thomas M. Doubleby.
And for this, I'm going to come down and speak. Can you hear me okay? Excuse me, I have some extensive comments here. This portion of the meeting is dedicated to honoring a great American and a great Orland Parker, Tom Doubleby. Before we honor Tom for his most recent service as interim village manager, I want to tell you about his lifetime of doing good and serving others. Tom began his commitment to service when he joined the U.S. Army in 1970. He served overseas during the Vietnam conflict and was based in Thailand. Years later, in 1984, he returned to community service by coaching in the Girls Orland Youth Association and served as its president from 1986 to 1989. Tom also devoted time to the Orland community by volunteering as a member of the Recreation Advisory Board from 1987 to 1991. While on the board, Tom served on the Friends of the Park subcommittee, where he became an integral part of the development of Centennial Park, the Aquatic Center, and the improvement of Lake Sedgwick. In 1991, Tom was elected as a trustee on the Orland Park Village Board. He served in this capacity for 10 and a half years until August 2001, when he stepped down from the board so as not to create a conflict of interest between village business and his own new business. During the years on the village board, he served as chairman of the Community Development Committee, the Recreation Committee, and the Finance Committee. He was also a supporter of preserving open lands, and to date, Orland Park has preserved over 250 acres of open lands. While serving his community as an elected official, Tom donated his $600 monthly stipend to local veterans organizations, a domestic violence shelter, and various other nonprofit organizations. When he left the village board, he donated the remaining funds in his campaign account, $5,000, to the Orland Parks Veterans Commission and the Orland Historical Society. After leaving the village board, Tom continued to serve the community as the chair of the Veterans Commission from 2002 to 2010. Once retired, he continued to be involved with veterans groups, most recently helping veterans file for needed services. Between 2010 and 2015, Tom worked with various businesses developing a program that recycled electronics to raise funds for computer training for veterans. On March 30th, 2011, Tom received an appreciation award from the Orland Memorial Post 111 for his service, and in 2015, Tom started working with the Village of Orland Park as the Veterans Liaison. As Veterans Liaison, Tom was instrumental in expanding and improving several veterans events, including the Memorial Day celebration, the Veterans Day festivities, the Veterans Steak Fry, and the Liberty Fun Run. He was the recording secretary for our Veterans Commission, and he also leads the efforts for our annual Veterans Golf Outing. Under his leadership, the last two golf outings were our most successful ever. And the proceeds for this charity outing benefit 5 different veterans groups. Last year, Tom was one of 200 Illinois veterans honored for his lifetime of service as part of the Illinois Bicentennial Celebration. Now I'd like to highlight Tom's great work as interim village manager. When I first spoke to Tom about the possibility of taking the position as interim village manager, we spoke about what his objectives would be during his tenure. First, it was to improve morale and change the work environment into a more positive and collaborative place to work. Over the previous 2 years, the work environment in the village hall had become toxic. Cameras were placed in an HR hallway to watch the comings and goings into that office. Directors and employees were called on the carpet if they dared to have a conversation with me. I was locked out of many buildings, and many of my emails were blocked from being sent, including even a holiday wish from me to staff when I wasn't able to attend the holiday party due to the death of my father. Second, he was to identify issues that were being poorly managed or swept under the rug and correct, or at least begin correcting those problems. We knew that issues existed, and while I suspected where we might uncover some, I really did not know what Tom would find. Third, it was to hire an assistant village manager, a technology director, and begin the process of backfilling other director positions that were likely to be vacated due to the early retirement incentive. Tom's predecessor did not adequately address those issues, and I did not want our new village manager to be walking into a situation with no leadership in place. It was important to me to tackle these issues because we needed to turn the ship around and point it in the right direction so that the new village manager didn't have to worry about turning it around. He just needed to get it moving in the right direction and would not have to deal with these legacy issues. Tom and I also spoke about the challenges that he might face, and we have both agreed that the goal was to find a permanent village manager as quickly as possible. Well, Tom anticipated some of the challenges given his experience in government. Little did he know. On day one, he stumbled across a clandestine political investigation that found no wrongdoing and was being buried. That one trustee would continually try to undermine him and damage the village's reputation. that he would uncover a pay scheme to the former assistant village manager that cost the village over $10,000, that he too would be the subject of an allegation that was completely fabricated. Tom handled all of these challenges with professionalism, a great attitude, and a put the village first mindset. He continually reminded staff and me, we need to look forward, not backward. Personally, I am saddened by those who continue to play politics and for what Tom has had to deal with. What I find interesting is that many people who supported me were shocked by my desire to appoint Tom to the position of interim village manager because they said, quote, he was the former mayor's guy. I explained to them that Tom was, quote, an Orland Park guy and was interested in doing what was in the best interest of Orland Park. It turned out that I was absolutely right. We could not have asked for a better interim village manager. He did exactly what we needed. He was exactly the right leader at the right time. Under his leadership, morale has improved tremendously. People like coming to work, the tension has left the building, and the village is an enjoyable place to work. Tom has handled some difficult issues with integrity and dignity, kept us looking forward, and always put the village first. Tom hired an outstanding assistant village manager and technology director, and with his help, I think we hired an outstanding new village manager. Over and above this, Tom had a major impact on several other areas of the village. We now look at our capital budget in a completely new way. He helped us to restructure several departments to be more efficient. He delivered an outstanding first ticketed concert. He has helped us to focus the village more on customer service. He encouraged the lines of communication between the mayor's office and our various departments to become more open, and they have. He has implemented the use of outsourced services where needed. In short, Tom has done an amazing job that the village board, village employees, and most importantly, the residents of the village of Orland Park should be proud of. He is a village of Orland Park guy and a man of the highest integrity and intestinal fortitude. I am proud of the work he has accomplished, and he and his family should be as well. Tom's lifetime of service to the United States, the village of Orland Park, and to veterans reflects great credit upon himself, the village of Orland Park, the state of Illinois, and the United States of America. For this and his efforts over the last 5+ months, I want to present Tom with a small token of our appreciation, this key to the village. In recognition of your exemplary leadership and commitment to excellence. Say a few words.
Unfortunately, the wrong person got the credit for all this. I never understood how really great the department heads and the staff in the village of Orland Park are until I had the opportunity to work with them. All these things I'm being given credit for, I was really accomplished by the directors and staff, and I just had the opportunity to get out of the way and let them do their job. So, key to the city. Keith, actually, this is the second one I've gotten. First one I got was when I retired from the board. None of this would be possible without my best friend, Therese. She has given me the opportunity and the latitude to pretty much do whatever I want within reason. So thank you, Therese. Thank you, Village of Orland Park, all the directors and staff for giving me this great opportunity. You know, we're going through a tremendous time of change. Change is the only constant, as I've been told from time to time, and I think we're going to continue to have change for a while. All I got to say is welcome it, embrace it, enjoy the ride, and thank you very much for the key to the city.
Consent agenda?
Consent agenda. Item A, payroll for October 18th, 2019. Item B, accounts payable from October 8th, 2019 to October 21st, 2019, approval. Item C, Roberts Davidson Center demolition bid award. Item D, an ordinance amending Appendix B fine schedule of the Orland Park Village Code in regard to the imposition of fines and penalties, ordinance amendment. Item E, emergency vehicle light bar and siren control purchase. Item F, plant replacement improvements for median and right-of-way landscaping beds. Item G, certificate of occupancy Village Code, Section 5-1-4 Amendment Ordinance. Item H, Akawi Residence, 10841 West 143rd Street Property Annexation Ordinance. Item A, Akawi Residence, 10841 West 143rd Street Rezoning Ordinance. Item J, Akawi Residence, 10841 West 143rd Street Right-of-Way Dedication Ordinance. Item K, National Flood Insurance Compliance for Village of Orland Park Ordinance. Item L, Cook County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan Resolution. Item M, Village of Orland Park Periodical Printing RFP Reissue. Item N, 2019 Taste of Orland Park Tents and Supplies. Item O, Disposal of Village Equipment, Online Auction, Vehicles and Equipment from Public Works, Police Station, and Museum Ordinance. Item P, Village Code Amendment, Title 5, Chapter 7, regarding Negligent Housing Management Ordinance. Are there any changes to the consent agenda? I will entertain a motion to approve items A through P of the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton? Trustee Dodge? I'm sorry, Trustee Calandrello? Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
La Mahi Okana Azteca Ice Cream Shop. Special use permit.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve a special use permit sought by La Michoacana Azteca for the operation of an ice cream shop as recommended at the October 8, 2019 Plan Commission meeting and as fully referenced in the motion below. Now, I understand it's being amended.
No, you need to read that
we got it.
motion.
Go back, this one? Okay.
So Trustee Healy.
Not second, yes.
I move to waive the requirements of Land Development Code Sections 5-101C.1B and 5-101C.1.c, and to allow the Board of Trustees to proceed with an immediate vote based on the Plan Commission unanimous recommendation. And I move to approve a special use permit sought by La Michoacana Azteca for the operation of an ice cream shop as recommended at the October 8, 2019 Plan Commission meeting and as fully referenced in the motion below.
Do I hear a second?
Second. Second.
Is that Dan?
Yeah. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Dodge.
quick question for staff or for the department chair. I'm all for moving things quickly. Is there a sense of urgency that we're changing our processes and suspending rules?
So it's my understanding that there was a discussion to speed up the process. This, for unanimous planning and zoning recommendations, this would take it directly to the village board, and it would save from 2 to 4 weeks. It would just eliminate something that's already been approved at a committee level.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye. Motion carries.
Seritage OSM special use.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to waive the requirements of Land Development Code Sections 5-101C.1.b and 5-101C.1.c, and to allow the Board of Trustees to proceed with an immediate vote based on the Plan Commission unanimous recommendation. And I move to approve a special use permit sought by Seritage Growth Properties for the operation of a fitness center as recommended at the October 8th, 2019 Plan Commission meeting and is fully referenced in the motion below.
Second. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Calendrello.
I just want to make sure all the changes is just now a fitness center because we prohibited that use and now we're allowing that use in this. There's nothing, no changing to the movie theater. Everything's the same except the fitness center now. I just want to make sure.
That's correct. The site plan and the floor plan is remaining exactly the same. It's just a special use permit to allow a fitness center.
And previously we said that was not an approved use. Now we're going back.
Right. The condition, or the motion included that it must go back to the board for approval if they included a fitness center. So that's where we're at right now.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge.
American malls are under threat for a lot of reasons, so I get why the operators would want to go in this direction, because this is increasingly something to do with current malls. Do we have any estimates of the difference in revenue from allowing a fitness center, which is a supporting use to retail? I got that piece, but do we have any estimates, or can you supply one later?
I can look into that for you, but
Great.
yeah, I don't have that up.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
No.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calendrello?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye. Motion carries 6-1.
Amusement device operators license?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve the issuance of one automatic amusement device operator's license to Another Level Clothing. Amusement devices shall be installed meeting Village of Orland Park codes and ordinances.
Second. Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calendrello?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Amend Title VII, Chapter 4, number of Class D liquor license.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Dodge.
ordinance number, please.
5445.
5445. Mr. Chairman, move to pass ordinance number 5445 entitled Ordinance Amending Title VII, Chapter 4 of the Orland Park Municipal Code regarding the available number of Class D liquor licenses issued by the Village of Orland Park, Cook and Will counties.
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Calendrello?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Elected officials pension eligibility?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Dodge.
resolution number, please.
1920.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Dodge.
move to pass resolution 1920 entitled A Resolution Repealing Resolution Number 1908, passed by the Village President and Board of Trustees by the Village of Orland Park on May 20th, 2019, and filed the appropriate forms with IMRF.
Second.
So first, I'll make comments on this. Trustee Dodge, you announced your run for mayor almost a year ago in November of 2018. This action is meant to sneak in a provision to make that position eligible for a pension for you. If you want to make this part of your platform, run on it. Don't sneak it in like the $150,000 pay increase you voted for in 2016. You want to make it seem like it's about me. I've said it before, and I will say it again. I'm not taking a pension now or ever for being mayor of Orland Park. We have lowered the salary to $40,000 annually and made the mayor's position ineligible for a pension at the next term. If these actions are reversed, and if you are elected mayor, you stand to gain $2.9 million in pension benefits for a measly $22,400 in contributions if you are elected. A vote to rescind this resolution makes the mayor's position pension eligible at the next election. Trustee Dodge wants to sneak this in because he has announced himself as a candidate for mayor. I want to remind all of the elected officials that we work for the citizens of Orland Park, and it is a privilege to serve them, not a right. With that privilege, our duty is to implement policies that are in the best interest of the citizens of Orland Park, not to vote for policies that serve your own financial and political interests. This resolution is about an elected official trying to line his own pockets at the expense of the citizens of Orland Park. Shame on you.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Dodge.
first, a question for Mr. Walsh. I'm pretty sure in Robert's Rules of Order, and maybe you could research this and get back to us at a future date so I can have a reason to demand an apology. It generally calls out in Robert's Rules of Order not to attack the motives of another member when they're speaking on an item. So if you can get back to me on that one. Continuing my comments, then this should be the easiest vote in the world for you to cast. And to the people of Orland Park, I'm sorry that you had to listen to a political speech on a microphone you funded, and in particular reference to my character again being impugned. It was a joke. Everybody in the press understood it was a joke. Everybody else understood it was a joke. So apparently that's now going to drive policy. In terms of this then reverting back to being pension eligible, no, it really doesn't. And so unless Mr. Walsh confirms what you just said, then quite frankly, we should just go ahead and vote this thing up or down.
Trustee Dodge, I believe staff did confirm that with IMRF officials today, that if you rescind ordinance number 1908, it goes back to the status quo of resolution 1722, which stood for the proposition that the village president's position required more than 1,000 hours of work per year, and as such, would be qualified to participate in IMRF.
Mr. Chairman.
Does anybody else want to speak before Trustee Dodge speaks a second time? Anybody?
Mr. Chairman.
Trustee Malani?
Yeah, I have a question. First of all, for the village attorney, how much time was spent by KT&J on this in the first place?
On this resolution?
On this, yeah.
Not much, I don't know.
Okay, it was interesting because based on the resolution text, it said that there were many conversations around this, so I was just curious how many you had had. None?
No.
Okay, then I'll continue with my thoughts then, because here we go once again, wasting more and more time on the board floor about things we don't need to worry about. I wouldn't expect this coming from someone who is, quote-unquote, tired of the bovine excretia now taking place in the village hall. First, let's address what he's putting in front of us. You know, he feels that 1908 actually allows full-time employees the ability to purchase pension credit from IMRF for the time they're served in the armed forces. And his intention is to make sure that we end the elected officials' participation or accruing additional pension benefits. It's great intentions. However, I think there's been a bit of a mistake. Resolution 1908 doesn't even pertain to those said benefits. Instead, what Resolution 1908 is for is exactly what the village attorney described. It would end up, terminating the mayor's participation in IMRF, and that's why we put in 1908. And then what I think Trustee Dodge really is looking at is referring to Resolution 0414, which was amended by 0802, I believe, back in 2008, which states, and I quote, that it allows service credit in the IMRF to members who have served in the armed forces of the United States for all periods of such prior service to their participation in IMRF, or participation was interrupted by military leave but did not return to IMRF participation within 90 days of discharge, and whereas such allowance of service credit cannot be limited to a specific IMRF member and applies to all employees who were active participation status under IMRF on the date this resolution was adopted. Now, if you think about that, if we were going to turn around and rescind 0414, it wouldn't really be fair to all of our employees who have served in the armed forces who might want to do that. Because not only would we rescind it for elected officials, we'd also have to rescind it for employees. And I don't think that's what we'd like to do. So that being said, since we came up here as a board, three of us ran on this, that we wanted to end pensions for elected officials. So we implemented resolutions 1907, 1908, 1909, and 1910, which terminated all elected official participation on IMRF, which is confusing because if we're talking about rescinding what we put in, it makes no sense. So if we think about this, and I think, Mayor Pekow has kind of touched on this. Rescinding 1908 allows the mayor to participate in IMRF. Seems kind of contradictory to what we're trying to accomplish. And not only that, he would be able to buy back his time served in the military. Since Mayor Pekow has stated multiple times that he does not plan on participating in IMRF or buying back his pension because of Armed Forces credit, I believe that by now. There's only one other person up here that could benefit from that, and that would be Trustee Dodge. Serving in the Armed Forces, being up here for many years, and if we take a brief moment to remember that a while back, after a discussion on term limits, I think it was back in November, where he did decide to come down, not only tell the press, he told many members of the audience, including me, that I'll fix him, I'm going to run for mayor. Whether it was a joke or not, it came out of your mouth, and here we are today. So once again, we're wasting more time up here dealing with political stunts, preserving someone's own self-interest. If we want the bovine excretia to cease, stop bringing buckets of it to the village hall. And while we're at it, why don't we just boost the salary back up to 150 grand while we're at it, and you can get that too. Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Healy.
I have another military reference that I'd like to just to say that the General World War II said, I hate paying for the same real estate twice. Well, I loathe discussing the pension issue again. The decisions behind us. The board wasted hours last spring and summer discussing various details of the pension options for the mayor. Even though the mayor was specific that he will not be taking a pension for his mayoral duties and no pension for elected officials. The opposition trustees basically said they had no faith in the mayor's word and no faith in the legislation. The issue was decided by the majority of the board. It is the same majority of the board that has committed to putting the people of Orland Park over any other consideration. Now we have to resurrect the issue. The issue's already been decided. This is a waste of time. For our time is valuable, KTJ's time is valuable, staff time is valuable, and the public's time has value. I am opposed to further discussion on this matter, but I'd like to suggest 3 motions if we could get them on the agenda for the next time. I'd like to suggest that can we establish a rule that in order to put a measure on the agenda, that it should be done by either the mayor, the village manager, or 2 trustees. It is clear this rule would prevent reckless, self-aggrandizing, duplicitous, paranoid measures from making it to the agenda and wasting everyone's time and money. Second, I recommend that only the mayor individually, the village manager individually, or 2 trustees collectively can authorize the village to pay for legal advice. It is clear one person's self-interest and one person's misguided efforts can cost the village significant legal fees in chasing items that are a complete waste of time. And I also believe that utilizing the law firm, number 3, I believe that utilizing the law firm without conferring with other officials for the purpose of an issue that has no reasonable basis is wrong. In this particular case, I'd call it egregious. I believe the people of Orland Park should not have to pay the legal fees on this. I would suggest a KTJ billing back charge the person who concocted this measure. This bill will be relatively small compared with the cost of KTJ plus the cost of the village staff.
Any other comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Katsinas.
if we can ask Attorney Walsh exactly, it's extremely confusing. I think it's confusing to the public. Could you explain exactly what this is trying to do?
Sure. On August 21st, 2017, the village board adopted a resolution 1722 in which it made the determination that the village president's position required more than 1,000 hours of work per year, and it's been that way since 2003. In May of 2019, the village board adopted resolution 1908 in which it made the determination that the village president position will require more than 1,000 hours for work prior to year 2021. In year 2021, that position will no longer be working more than 1,000 hours, so basically reverting back to a part-time position. So if the board rescinds the last resolution that it made, which is 1908, which says that the village president's position is no longer qualified to participate in IMRF in 2021, rescinding that resolution will revert back to the resolution 1722, which allows the village president to participate in IMRF until further action is taken by the board to make a determination that that position doesn't qualify.
Okay, now you can understand my confusion.
It's not easy.
So, I just think, I don't understand the rationale. I think it's very hard to understand, but if you lay it out, it looks like it's priming something for 2021. Thank you for the explanation.
I hope it helped.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
I just have a question. I don't care who answers it. So back in May, I'm guessing it was May, when all the trustees were made ineligible to participate in IMRF and the clerk, the mayor's position was not. So if the mayor's position would have been made ineligible, just like the other 7 people sitting up here, we wouldn't be here tonight. Is that correct, Mr. Walsh?
I don't know by what you mean by we wouldn't be sitting up here.
Well, this wouldn't be here because everybody would have been
I
ineligible.
guess you'd have to ask the person that wanted the resolution whether or not there'd be some change to it, but presumably no.
So the 7 of us were taken out of the ability to participate. 1 person was left in to participate. So why wasn't everybody taken out? Even though Mr. Milani is shaking his head down there.
That you're going to have to ask your fellow board members.
Okay. So that's just something for the people to understand, that back then, the trustees and the clerk were taken out of the eligibility. They were no longer allowed to participate effective July 1 of 2019, but the mayor could and still can participate because his position in that resolution, it wasn't changed, where ours was.
If I had to speculate, I would say this. I would say that the village board increased the mayor's salary to $250,000, and my understanding of that was it was with the understanding that the mayor would be working on a full-time basis, and that's why that position's different than a trustee's position.
Correct, but, well, so was the clerk's position, and the clerk makes more than the trustees, but his was taken away too.
Yeah.
Plus, the position was voted back to part-time. No,
Effective 2021.
no, that was effective the date we passed it.
Well, the salary adjustment's 2021.
Right, the salary adjustment is, but the hours was changed, the position was changed back to part-time then.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge.
So, questions for Mr. Walsh as part of my comments. So, Mr. Walsh, when I spoke with Mr. Fricker, I was pretty clear what my intention was. Is there a logical explanation why I wasn't referred to 1722 and 1908? My goal was clear.
I wasn't there when you had your discussion with him. I can't speak to that other than I can say this, that the information that staff received from the IMRF today was the driver for this.
Got it. Continuing my comment, then I'm pretty sure I wasn't communicated with that arrived. So we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do here tonight. And then second, we did vote to reduce the hours. Not a question about the paycheck. Let me be emphatically clear. This is not about the paycheck. It was about the obligations of the hours. I think that was a 6-to-1 vote or some such. You'll have to check the facts for us, Mr. Walsh, and get back to us. But we did vote to reduce the hours. So that then changes, does it not, the circumstances of both these ordinances. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer an amendment to my motion.
Trustee Dodge, you have the floor.
I would like them, do you want just the amendment, or do you want the full amended? What's the proper protocol, if I might ask,
You
Mr.?
can give it either way.
The amendment is to insert "and 1722" after the number 1908 in the original motion.
Second.
So the amendment's been moved and seconded. Anybody have any comments on that?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani?
could we have the village attorney give us the explanation then of what would happen if,
I'd have to look at the last resolution that was passed by the board prior to 1722, and I don't have it in front of me. So I don't know what the consequences of that amendment would be as I sit here.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge?
Since there are so many open substantive issues that we need Klein, Thorpe, and Jenkins to address definitively and declaratively in writing, so there is no confusion about one ordinance is deeply intersected with another ordinance when the intent of bringing this to a vote was clear, I'm more than happy to see us table this. That's an idea. And then second, you know, at some point, we'll have to take up Mr. Trustee Healy's comments because, quite frankly, I don't think under Illinois law you could set such a standard to prevent a duly elected official from putting an item on a board agenda for proper discussion. So I appreciate, I think, the spirit of the intent, but unless Mr. Walsh corrects my memory, that's not doable. That said, motion to table.
Second.
So we'll entertain the vote for the motion to table this so that we can discuss it at yet another board meeting. Call the roll. Kathy seconded.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
No.
Trustee Katsinas.
No.
Trustee Malani.
nay?
Mayor Pico.
No. So now we can go back to the amendment. Are there any other comments or questions for the amendment? So the amendment would have the effect of saying in 2003 that what was passed in 2003, making everyone pension eligible for all these years.
It was
not
made in
correct.
2017. Resolution 1722 was adopted on August 21st, 2017. But that's the one that made, in fact, I have it in front of me, that's the one that made the village clerk, the village president, members of the board eligible, and if you, for IMRF benefits based on 1,000 hours.
Any other comments on the amendment? Call the roll on the amended motion.
I just have a question. I haven't had a chance to read what I'm voting on, so can I just abstain then? All the stuff that you're just talking about now, I haven't.
So I will reread the amended motion.
No, I understand that. I'm talking about the ordinance 1722. I don't have it in front of me.
Well-
I don't.
That wasn't part of the original motion, so
I know.
right now we have an amendment on the table, and the board is to vote on that amendment. Do you want to call a recess so that we can read 1722 and extend this meeting even longer?
No, because that's not fair to them, and plus you're snickering about my comment anyway, but I think it's pretty ill-informed of people to vote on things they don't have in front of us. I mean, that would be like voting on a budget if we never saw it.
I think that Attorney Walsh just told you
I
what
can
1722
summarize it for you if you'd like. It's a pretty simple resolution. It's an IMRF resolution that simply says that the Board of Trustees at that time made a determination that the village clerk, the village president, and members of the Board of Trustees since 2003 qualified for IMRF because it engaged, or they engaged in work in excess of 1,000 hours per year. It's that simple.
Okay, so what are we voting against?
So the question, I think the question in the amendment is whether or not you want to, if you want to rescind this resolution along with Resolution 1908. That's currently the issue that's pending before the board, is whether or not that amendment is acceptable.
And if you rescind 1722, what happens?
I don't know. I don't have the resolution before that in front of me.
So therefore, we're voting on something we don't know what the ramifications are.
You don't have to vote for the amendment. So at this point, anybody else have comments on the amendment?
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Calandrello.
I just have a quick question for, I don't have my rules book on me. Can we just withdraw an item? There's too many questions in my mind that I can't make an educated vote either way on this, all these issues. I mean, can we withdraw an item from the agenda? Can make a motion to withdraw this item entirety, and then we come back and we have all the facts? I mean, I can't vote yes or no on something I have
There's
no
already been
idea.
a motion to table it, and it was
Yes,
and
there
it
was
was
a motion to
declined.
table the matter. It's an agenda item, it's before the board. There was a motion to table it that got rejected, and now we're with the amendment.
Thank you for the clarification.
Any other comments on the amendment? So right now, we're voting on whether or not to amend the motion to also include rescinding 1722, resolution number 1722. Call the roll.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Fenn.
Abstain.
Trustee Calandrello.
Abstain.
Trustee Healy.
No. Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
We're in the middle of a roll call.
I understand.
Yeah. So Trustee Malani with a point of order?
Yes. I think we're all up here as voting members. Aren't we supposed to vote not abstain from something unless we have a conflict?
They're abstaining because the vote directly impacts them, because they were trustees and they were making themselves eligible. So I believe that's their abstention. Is that correct? Trustee Calandrello, and
I'm abstaining because I cannot make an educated vote at this time.
then you need to, then you're required to make a vote. So Trustee Malani is correct. You have to make an up or down vote unless you have a conflict of interest that causes you to abstain.
I'll abstain because of conflict of interest.
I guess I have a question for the attorney. So I'm going to vote because, on it. I mean, what's the mechanism for force me to vote, I guess?
I'm sorry.
What is the mechanism for force me to vote?
Our ordinance.
The village code requires a trustee to vote on all issues unless they have a reason under the code not to.
And the only reason is if there's a conflict, there's no other.
I have to look at the code.
That's why I asked this table, because I feel like I can't make an educated vote on this because there's too many ordinance numbers, and I just don't know. I can't in good faith vote either way.
Section 1576 of the village code says, "Every trustee who shall present when a question is stated from the chair shall vote thereon unless excused by the Board of Trustees, or unless to vote thereon would constitute a legal conflict of interest, in which case the trustee shall abstain from voting or take such other action as is required by law."
So another question. So the Board of Trustee can relieve me of this obligation to vote on something I'm not sure what we're voting on?
Correct.
And how do I formulate that? How do I ask for relief of this from my fellow board members?
I think I would ask the chair for that.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Calandrello.
based on personal good faith issues that I'm not sure exactly what we're voting on today, I'm asking for a leave of my requirements to vote on this matter.
Trustee Calandrello has asked to be relieved of his duty to vote. I'll put it to the board for a vote, so call the roll on his vote.
Trustee Fenton.
Fine. Or yes, whatever you need.
Then aye?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
No.
Trustee Calandrello.
I think I'm going to abstain.
He
because
can't vote on that one.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
No.
Trustee Malani.
No.
Mayor Pico.
Doesn't matter how I vote, but I'll vote aye, but it's a split tie, so you still have to vote.
Okay. I did everything I can in good conscience to vote the way I wanted to vote, an educated vote, so I'll do the best I can based on this board's ruling. Thank you.
So if we can restart the vote with Trustee Calandrello.
So again, so this is to the amendment of the amendment?
To the amendment of the amendment. The amendment to include 1722 is repealing that as well.
No. Under duress, I guess.
Trustee Katsinas.
No.
Trustee Malani.
No.
Mayor Pico.
No, so the amendment fails 5-1. Now, back to the original motion. Are there any other comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Dodge, you've gotten to speak on this twice.
I'll make my comments and board comments then. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Katsinas.
Excuse my, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. I mean, why are we wasting time doing this? This is about pensions, about part-time people shouldn't get pensions. The mayor has said he wouldn't get pensions. What more do we need to do? It's very confusing for everyone out there. The bottom line is, we're not taking a pension. The board voted, it's not fair. How could part-time people, 1,000 hours a year, you'd have to be at Village Hall an awful lot. That's not fair to the people who've earned a pension. People who work full-time. Our kids, your relatives, neighbors, not to part-time elected officials. This is what this is about. So, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Please.
Yes.
Trustee Calandrello.
Again, I'm for us not collecting a pension, and for the record, I will not be collecting a pension. I know that I used to be a state's attorney, but I'm not vested in that pension, and I'm not going to collect that pension. So I just want to make that clear. There's been people who've been saying that I'm collecting pensions. I don't, and I will not, because I've never vested, and I plan not to. I was just I feel the intent was just so people can buy back the time. And that's what I'm against. Again, people buying back their time so they can't collect a pension. That's where my head's at. And since the board that's just where my head's at. Again, I'm not trying to get myself a pension. I don't have a pension. And I think the goal of this was so people couldn't buy back their time. And I support that theory. Thank you. As an elected official.
Any other comments? So my last comments will be, I'll try to simplify this. The previous board raised the pay to $150,000, which is for this term of the mayor, so I'm earning $150,000. The only way to earn $150,000 is to work full-time. There was nothing in either resolution that listed a total amount of hours that you would have to work. However, I am clearly putting full-time hours into this position. So, secondly, regarding the IMRF, Directors Przybylski and Directors Mampy, am I participating in IMRF at this time? So the answer is no, I am not participating in IMRF. So it's really that simple. But the reality is that at $150,000, in order to stop someone from participating in IMRF, you have to certify that their position is not a 1,000-hour position. Well, clearly right now my position is. So if we were to certify that, we would be lying. So we're not going to do that. But it's irrelevant because in 2021 it goes back to 40,000, it goes back to part-time, and this resolution would rescind that and make the position eligible again. That I will not do. It will not be eligible. Another question for Director Mampy or Director Przybylski. As a Tier 2 employee, how many years do I need to vest? How many? 10 years to vest. So, under Trustee Dodge's straw man of I buy back 4 years in arrears and I buy back military time, how much time would I have? 4 years of military, 4 years of one term because the next term is not eligible. How many years would I have? 8. So I'd be short, I would not be vested, correct? It's really that simple. It's not a real complicated thing. So with that, I'll take a vote on the original motion, which I'll read again just so that everyone knows what it is. What was the resolution number again?
1920.
To pass resolution number 1920, entitled a resolution repealing resolution number 1908, passed by the village president and the board of trustees of the village of Orland Park on May 20th, 2019, and file the appropriate forms with IMRF. Call the roll.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
No.
Trustee Healy.
No.
Trustee Katsinas.
No.
Trustee Malani.
No.
Mayor Pico.
No. Motion or resolution fails 5-2.
Resolution supporting pension consolidation for Illinois police and fire employees.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to pass resolution number 1921 entitled Resolution of the Village of Orland Park, Illinois, urging the General Assembly to enact public safety pension funds consolidation.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments on this?
Chairman?
Trustee Dodge.
It's, I have no problem supporting this because it makes a lot of sense. And it's clear the intent of this is for separate accounts like what we have with IMRF so that there's no cross-subsidy with towns that are in a different spot. I just hope that Springfield doesn't forget that part of what we're voting on. So I have no problem voting for this resolution. I'd like us to find a way to make sure we know when the legislation actually starts to move, if we need to do another resolution in case they change their minds.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Healy.
I would like to get Chief McCarthy's opinion on what the police rank and file feel about this motion.
I don't know, Trustee Healy. I haven't addressed it with them at all. Their feelings about it.
So if I can just give you a little bit of background, because I've been knee-deep in some of these discussions with legislators downstate as well as the IML, is that what this does is it consolidates pension and fire, all the suburban and downstate, not Chicago, everybody else, because Chicago didn't want to participate, so everybody else, into individual funds, a fire fund and a pension fund, which allows their money to be pooled together, so especially the downstate funds that are less than 10 million can get a much better rate of return than what they can currently get. Plus, it saves a significant amount of administrative costs. So that's the reason for it. This has been a no-brainer for almost 2 years. Everyone in Springfield agrees it's a no-brainer. They just haven't been able to get it done. What this resolution supports both of those, but that does not support the third recommendation, which was to increase Tier 2 benefits for pension and fire. So that's what we're supporting. Additionally, you should know that the investment managers lobby has signed a contract with a lobbyist, with a lobbyist for about $500,000 to lobby the senators and legislators to not pass this, because they obviously want to keep their little funds all over the place. So, from a savings perspective, a return perspective, this is one of there's a few things out there for pension reform. This one is kind of a no-brainer that everyone agrees will make the system healthier. Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. D. Jerry.
George, you want to flip that around?
Hi. Good evening. I'm Dee Gary. I live in Creekside Subdivision, and I just wanted to bring up a safety concern.
Can you give us your address, too?
Oh, sure. 13962 Springview Lane. When 143rd Street was closed due to flooding between Wolf Road and Wilcook Road, Creek Crossing, I should say, my husband and I were out walking in the evening between like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and I noticed a lot of cars just flying by and obviously not doing the speed limit, avoiding the stop signs, either not coming to a complete stop or just completely ignoring it. So we did call the police. We did see a patrol car come, and I did see the patrol officer pull somebody over for missing a stop sign. So I'm not really sure if this is a board thing to bring up, but I just wanted to bring up because it's a safety concern. Obviously, this was at night that this was happening, but it is a school zone with Centennial School right there. If this was happening at night, it might also be happening during the day. I just want to suggest that maybe they could put some more officers out there when that road is closed due to flooding, because I'm sure they could be issuing a lot of tickets, which would make the village some money. I wouldn't mind take a commission off of that either. But anyways, just something that might be looked into. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just so you're aware, I believe whenever that is closed, we do increase our details over there to pay attention because we do know it's a problem. So we do that. Are there anybody else here to speak? Okay. Board comments. Trustee Fenton?
Yes, on Friday I went down with Sarah and the Stellwagen family to watch them accept the Illinois Landmarks Association's award. They were one of 9 recipients. It was a very moving event, especially when pictures of Mr. Stellwagen, the father, was shown, and 3 generations of the Stellwagen family were there to accept the award. This puts the Stellwagen farm on the map, the state of Illinois. It's a very prestigious award to receive. So kudos to the Stellwagen family, to Sarah for applying for the grant. We did get a $1,000 check, which will go towards renovations of the house. The Stellwagen family has already renovated at their own cost the 10 outbuildings, and they're also the ones that conduct the tours out there. Along with that award, we were just notified today that the museum and the Stellwagen farm received another award. This time it's from the Illinois Association of Museums, whose mission is to provide advocacy, promote best museum practices, foster exchange of ideas within the museum community. This will further put Orland Parks Museum on the map along with the Stellwagen farm. And just a reminder that this Saturday at 2 p.m. is the museum's Gaslight of London program, which will be about the Victorian London, about Jack the Ripper, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and tickets can be purchased at the door. All the events that we've had at the museum, Ray Piatoni filled in for Sarah on Saturday night, which was Friday night, which was another success. Have been going extremely well. I'm very proud of Sarah, our curator. She's doing a great job out there, and encourage everyone to attend as many events as you can because they're very, very interesting. Oh, and also I'd like to compliment the veterans on their luncheon yesterday. I was able to attend it. It was a nice event for the vets to come and chit-chat with their friends and have a nice lunch provided by City Barbecue. That's it.
Trustee Dodge.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Just a couple of comments extending the discussion earlier. I think someone used the number $2.9 million as a pension. I will call IMRF tomorrow and make sure they do a calculation, and I will bring it back to this full board, and I think there will be an apology due. Not the least of which is, I just think the math is wrong, including probably not accounting for the 7 years that I served up here for free. Let me say that again. For free. I didn't take a paycheck from the Village of Orland Park, so by definition, there's no pension credit. Second, I'm anxiously awaiting the research from Kleinthorpe and Jenkins on 3 things. 1, my earlier question about there is language in Robert's rules about not attacking another member's motives, which clearly happened tonight. I don't need to go back over that ground. You heard it for yourself. I'd also like some more research from either staff, Kleinthorpe, or perhaps we get an IMRF representative to come in here and clarify everything. So I'd like some research on the intersection of all these resolutions, the IMRF rules, including our resolution to reduce the hours of the mayor, which of course by state law has nothing to do with the paycheck. And it's important everybody understands, and I'm just a simple kid from the South Side, but I'm pretty sure I can add to 12. Let me tell you how this works under Illinois law, which I'm formally asking Klein, Thorpe, and Jenkins, Stefana, and the IMRF to tell me if the following scenario I'm about to articulate is wrong. If it is wrong, I will apologize. The current resolution, which is still in force, ends the pension eligibility for this position sometime in May of 2021. Do we all agree on that? If, between the election in April 2021 and the end of that resolution, some future board, which will by definition include Trustee Healy, Trustee Milani, and Trustee Katsinas, and perhaps Mayor Pecaw, could change the rule again to extend eligibility for whatever mayor's next term. So if I'm not mistaken, under Illinois law, that means your first term is eligible by what the majority did tonight. You could buy back your military time, and you then have your entirety of your future term. So unless the IMRF and the lawyers tell me I'm wrong, that's the option. That is the option. That is the essential question we are battling over tonight. There is no opt-out. There is no opt-out provision under Illinois law. You are pension eligible. A piece of paper and a signature would make you, on my math, a pension of worth $1 million. And I would love, again, for Klein Thorpe, the IMRF, and our staff to do that math. If I'm wrong, I will apologize to the people of Orland Park.
Trustee Calandrello.
I just want to remind everyone, trick-or-treating hours are 2 to 7 p.m. on Halloween. I won't tell you what my kids are dressed up as. You'll have to find them. Thank you.
Trustee Healy.
It looks like Tom has left the village, or the room, but I wanted to personally tell him thank you for taking the 3 rookie trustees under his wing and instilling in us a sense of community and a sense of to look at the greater good of Orland Park. And I've taken his suggestions to heart, and I'm very thankful to him. So I just want to give an additional thanks to Tom Dubelby.
Trustee Katsinas.
With all this talk about pension, where was the concern a few years back? I wanted to say thank you to Mr. Dubelbees for a job very well done. I've worked with him on the Veterans Commission. He is a dedicated, good man who stepped up under very, very tense circumstances and did an outstanding job. And I thank his wife also. Thank you.
Trustee Milani.
On a happy note, congratulations to Orland Oasis for being our Business of the Month. I think we're going to have to stop by there now for some breakfast to make sure that they're still up to quality standards. Couple events that are coming up. The DEA is hosting the National Prescription Take-Back at the Orland Park Police Station coming soon, so if you have any old, expired medications, please come drop them off. Don't flush them down the toilet, please. And also, November 2nd, the special rec garage sale is also coming. And then I wanted to avoid talking about it, but it was brought up again, and we're going to talk about pensions some more. How foolish would it be for us to sit up here, run on a platform saying we're going to eliminate pensions, and then a year later or 2 years later turn around and change our mind and make the mayor eligible for a pension, or turn around and make ourselves eligible? How many of you in this room would vote for us when it comes time for re-election? Go ahead, raise your hand. Okay, I think that answers Trustee Dodge's question then. Thank you all for coming tonight, and have a great night.
Thank everyone for coming tonight. Sorry we wasted 40 minutes of time rehashing yet another thing that we hashed out before. Bottom line is, the people spoke. I promised I wouldn't take a pension. I promised that we would, the 4 of us promised that we would eliminate elected officials' pensions. We've done all of those things. Full stop. what I really want to talk about is the great, I'm sorry I missed the Vets Luncheon and the Illinois Landmark thing. I had a family event, but thank you, Trustee Fenton, for attending those. I heard they were phenomenal. I also would like to, read something that we got regarding one of our officers. So we had a call from a extremely happy citizen. I'm not going to mention her name for privacy purposes, but she was attempting to cut some small trees in her yard while she sat on her walker. She stated that Officer Freeman was driving by her house. He backed his squad car up and offered to help. She accepted his help. She's very appreciative and wanted to make Officer Freeman's superiors aware of his community policing efforts. She was very happy as she has a husband who is on oxygen and was not able to help her. So I think this effort for Officer Freeman speaks volumes to the positive impact the police have doing simple things for the people of Orland Park. And also, Officer Freeman happened to have a recruit with him during that incident, which was a great learning experience for that young recruit. So kudos to Officer Freeman. With that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Call roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Calendrello.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Getzinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.